So today we have yet another AutoCrafting challenge. These will be happening once a month here at the first Friday of the month. There will be a challenge for the month, and the winner will be chosen the Thursday after. Your crafters, if you do plan to participate in a upcoming challenge, then you must submit your crafters to me in a DM Sunday night before 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is because time to record, edit, all those kind of things. That video can be uploaded Friday. So yeah, if you guys want to participate, there will be a next one, the start of April, the very first Friday. All you need to do to enter, just join my Discord, head to the AutoCrafting challenge, and then the poll to vote on the crafter you guys are going to make will be posted the Wednesday before. That goes live Friday. You have until Sunday. And yeah, so this one, we challenged everybody to do a one-wide tileable repeater crafter. So the one-wide tileable was chosen by me, just because it makes a lot of things more interesting than just the fastest possible one. We have pretty much the same people that submitted crafters as the last time. So this one over here is not technically one wide tileable, which is why I wanted to start out with this and kind of explain why one wide tileable is kind of difficult compared to just other crafters that have been made. So this one right here, while it does look like it's one wide tileable, there's very many spots where it actually isn't. So the start right here, this is perfectly fine. Then you get to this observer here, and then while yes, this does update this and this, or just power this block, does update this one and this one, but at the same time it does update this one and QC power this one down here. So that does not make it one wide tileable because they will interfere with each other. We can show that off when we power it on. This one goes up, which these are fine, not a big deal. These don't interfere with each other at all. It's when you get down to here where it's another issue, the same issue. While this one does get powered, this one gets QC powered. It is not a good thing. So this one up here will also QC power this guy, could interfere with each other. And then he also does QC this dropper down here as well. So a lot of areas where QC happens and then nothing happens with it. But yeah, so this one over here, this activation of sticky piston is one wide tileable. But then we go down to this and you push this down and create an observer clock next to a note block, which the note block then powers the one next to it, and that does not make it as another place where it's not one-wide tileable. The same thing for this repeater here. This repeater powers this guy here, but also powers this one, and then QC powers the one next to it as well. So there's another one there, and the same thing down over here. The repeaters go into droppers. Not something you want to do for one-wide tileable crafters at all. This torch is actually fine. It's not actually an issue. But yeah, everything else is okay. So the rail lines are all good. It's just the other parts are not one wide tileable. You can see if we turn one of them on, and the actual on-off switch is just to power this and then flick it. So that's not the best on-off either, because two different things you need to do. You can see here that this one works fine. It's not until you go to the other side where you see that there's stone being input into this one where the issue starts to show itself, how it's not one wide tileable, even though we only turned on one of the crafters. As you can see, the only bottom one down here is working. Now this would be one wide tileable if you activated them both at the same time, but the whole purpose of one wide tileable is so they can work independently and not interfere with the other crafters. So yeah, that's kind of why we didn't. This one isn't really one I consider to be one wide tileable, because there's a couple issues with it. But yeah, it's still, it's still a good try. Some things you can learn from is this note block. If you power a block like that, the other note block will also be powered. So if you use rails here instead, that would have been better. You need to alternate the rails in this one. So if you were to do that, you would need to do the rails like this, so they don't interfere with each other. But that, and then QC power is a thing, so you gotta watch out for that. And then powering a dropper with a repeater like this, not a good thing, because it will update the other one as well. But yeah, so some things you can learn. Still appreciate the submission, and we'll head on to the next one now. Alright, I know we skipped a couple over there, we'll go back to those ones in a second. This one is Dazzy's 3000 an hour repeater crafter, single on-off switch, which is good. And yeah, so everything here will work. You can see some of the observer positions are a bit better. There is no QC. This one, actually, we did talk. This is supposed to be a hopper, and that will work the same way. But yeah, so that's good. One little modification that Dazzy did send after submitting this crafter, but didn't update schematic, is that will work. That would have the same issue as that one, where it would power this one, but then power the other one. And then if they're activated too close together, then that could have issues. But you can see over here, it doesn't really matter. It does still work. So this one here, see, it's on-off switch. The only thing that could really be improved with this one is the reset. So the reset could be a bit quicker here, but other than that, the 3000 an hour being one wide tileable is pretty, decent. It's not the fastest that there is, but it's, one wide tileable is always hard to get, and you can ask anybody that does stuff like this, including myself, that these are really hard to do. I did not make one this time. It just feels a bit weird for me to make one and compare it to, but it's definitely fun to see everybody else's thought process. I did have two people, Leo and Henrik, send their thought process, or their design process that they had, so we do have some pictures here. Not all schematics, but I will be showing some pictures of their crafters and the process they went through when their version 1.1, 1.2, and so on, so their final version of the start. And then Leo has some other things that we can also show off, but we'll go back to Dazzy's here. So 3000 an hour tiled is what this looks like, and it's always really satisfying to see these work like that, a little bit of a wave effect between all them all. And yeah, so this one right here should be about 27,000 repeaters per hour here, which is, for the space, definitely really nice to have that. And yeah, good job to Dazzy getting that down to 3000 an hour, which is a 24 game tick clock. And that is definitely faster than the first one we saw, but it's still not the fastest that we will see today. And the on-off switch does work. Quick of a fence gate, you could have a lever, you could have anything that, basically almost a toggle state, so lever, gate, no block, anything like that will work for this activation. And something I told them when designing is to have an observer line going across. That way it's 2 game ticks in between each crafter being activated, and if anything would happen with that, then you would know your crafter isn't one wide tileable at all. As you can see here, everything is powered in a way to where it wouldn't get QC powered or stuff like that. And QC power here, as you can see, it goes from the note block, or the block, to the note block, to the component, and then that will be one wide tileable throughout the crafter. Same thing for this one, we power the dropper from the top, which powers this block, which powers this block, and then that works for that. And that's as you can see, this doesn't seem an issue because droppers do not provide block updates when being powered. So this will actually work instead of the hopper. You could also have a hopper there to guarantee that it will be perfectly fine, but this also does work. Input's a bit weird, gotta have water stream, something like that. So definitely could be improved for that, but it does work. I can tell you that. I did see it continuously put output repeaters and everything of that nature. On to the next one. Alright, next is CommandLeo's at 14 game ticks here. This one, as you can see, is one wide tileable. Instead of using droppers there, we can use barrels, and those will not transfer to the next barrel next to it, which makes it nice for that case. So you don't need to use droppers. They just create a little bit more issues because you can power the one next to it, use a barrel. It basically solves that issue. And yeah, same thing, you can see everything is powered in a way where the next slice doesn't interfere with anything at all. So I'm going to turn this one on. with this lever here. Uses a nice activation here. And yeah, so this is the 14 game tick cycle. Being one wide tile, we can see there's no time wasted between that reset, which just makes it that much quicker. Now there is a slight issue with this design because there is a certain speed. At some point, I think it's like 15 minutes or so, this stone will run out and the crafter will fail. Same with the torches. Torches will take a little bit longer. But yeah, one little flaw with this system here is that, but it's not too big of an issue, to be honest. It's kind of just showing that this is possible, but you would actually need 2x for the stone and the torches for the crafter to actually be like functional over a long period of time. This will work for short intervals, but anything longer will not work. Slight issue could be definitely a little bit rewired a bit. It would definitely get a bit bigger because you need to have 2 hoppers into this one, which means you have to have a hopper here. So your wiring for the top part here has to be a little bit different for that. And the same for the torches. You can't power this block. You have to find another way to power the dropper here. But yeah, still really, really nice design by Leo here. You can see the tiled version of it here. Same issues still persist, so you can't run this one for an extended period of time. But as you can see, they are all one wide tileable. And it is really satisfying to watch these do the wave effect. But yeah. Leo, there's some screenshots here, so we'll show the thought process and the design process throughout Leo's things. Leo also does have a one that he was going to work on, but unfortunately didn't have enough time the weekend of the challenge here. So he still wanted me to show these off here to kind of see if anybody else wanted to take up the challenge to do this, because powering this sort of layout of the droppers in a one wide tileable fashion is going to be very, very difficult. And yeah, if Leo had more time, probably could get that done, but unfortunately there wasn't enough time for Leo to do that. So still got a very, really fast crafter, 14 game ticks, the fastest one we have today so far. There is definitely a faster one that we can showcase, and then a little bit of a special treat at the end here to show what really is possible with something that Henrik did find out. But yeah, still thanks to Leo for submitting this crafter here, and we'll head on to the next one. Alright, next we have Henrik's 9 game ticked tiled one. This basically is just one, you can just look at it right here. This is basically everything you gotta look at. And yeah, this is something that I've never seen before, is using 4 droppers for a one wide tileable crafter. It is, definitely quite difficult to wire this up, but it definitely is possible. Makes use of the hopper minecart sitting on top of soul sand, which allows the hopper minecart to transfer items into the hopper, but also take items out of the table here. So yeah, definitely interesting to see, but it does actually work, and you get it down to 9 game ticks, which is basically the fastest you can do in a one wide tileable area. So that is a waterfall of repeaters. 8,000 repeaters an hour. You can see the dropper is fully filled up. If we actually had input here, this would stay filled constantly, and the same for the repeaters. And since we split that stone up into 2 different areas, this one down here only needs a single speed input, whereas this one up here needs the double speed with another dropper and 2 hoppers pointing into it. So we got a stone line there, torch line up there, and small issue with this, I just noticed that if this stone does start to run out, you will get a redstone in there. Very small thing that can be not really a big deal. As long as you keep the crafter filled up, you will not have that issue. But yeah, that's just one of the fastest things I've ever seen for a repeater crafter, because my old ones were probably about a third of the speed of that. My old crafter for repeater is probably about a third of the speed of this, which is insane, Henrik. But yeah, definitely the fastest one that I have received so far. You can see all the wiring. You can power the dropper here without QC powering, so that's something you can do with droppers and pistons. If you power it like this, it still does get powered, but also because you don't have a block here, if you have a block here, you'll see that it does power both of them. If you get rid of the block, it still powers this one. This is a Java only thing. But yeah, so you put a hopper here, hopper's on a full block, so that won't update the no block or the dropper here, allowing you to have some wiring that's one wide tub. One other thing you could do for another crafter here. But yeah, so one of the fastest ones. Got one little special treat at the end here. Definitely, if you do want to see any of the schematics for these, they will be in the AutoCrafting challenge, channel in my Discord, with all the people who made them and things like that. So we got one little thing over here. We'll show that off, and then that will be this challenge all wrapped up, and we'll be heading off, waiting for the next one in April. Alright, so this one right here is Henrik's 4 game tick, 3 wide tileable crafter for repeaters. This thing, if you thought this was fast, wait till you see this thing right here. You will be surprised. So yeah, there is 8 of these guys in a line right now. It is over 140,000 repeaters per hour. It's actually insane. But yeah, Henrik really loves the use hopper minecarts. I kind of hate to use them, to be honest with you. They are just really annoying sometimes to work with, but they get them to work correctly. You can achieve speeds faster than any hopper speed crafter could ever reach, just because of the hopper minecart's transfer speed and not having to have an 8 game tick cooldown. You can craft quite a substantial more faster with this. So 4 game ticks is 18,000 an hour per module. Times that by 8, you get your 144,000 repeaters per hour. So let's turn this thing on and just watch the waterfall of repeaters come to us. So yeah, basically the first 2 game ticks, we put the torch, redstone dust torch in. So this will be directional based off the update order of power and the droppers. And then the next 2 game ticks, you put all 3 stone in, and that same the last game tick of that 2 game tick, you can take out the repeater in that quick succession. So that's a 4 game tick cycle, which is, yeah, perfectly double hopper speed, so this dropper can keep up with no issue at all. And gets powered by this observer right here. So yeah, this had a short bit of time explaining. It's already crafted over a shulker box of repeaters. So yeah, this thing is absolutely insane. And just shouldn't be possible, but Henrik is a madman and didn't even need to do this. Only really needed to do this crafter here, but made this crafter to showcase that it is actually possible to make a 4 game tick crafter here, and it being 3 wide as well, just to add insult to injury. But yeah, so this has been yet another AutoCrafting challenge where we have some different ideas how to do things, But yeah, so one wide tileable, definitely something that is a great challenge for your redstone knowledge and skills and everything. So if you didn't participate in the challenge, I still strongly recommend you trying this out for yourself, taking some ideas from some people here, and using that, trying to make your own. It's definitely a nice way to practice your redstone skills, get better, learn from others around you, and improve your design later down the line. And yeah, so if you do want to participate in the next one, join the Discord. If you want to do that, definitely join the Discord down below, and you will see it in the start of the month for April. And I hope to see more people participate in this. It is a fun challenge, and Henrik will be getting a month of Gifted Nitro by me. That is the prize that I give out, just because some things can be weird about country. In the US, I can't really give stuff out in people in different countries, but I can give you a month of a Discord subscription, which is definitely something you guys will probably all use if you use Discord. So I figured that's a good thing to do. Make sure you like, subscribe, all sorts of things, and I'll see you in the next one.